So this story happened about 25 years ago, and it was my first year out of college, my first job, and I had somehow landed a fancy job at a corporate headquarters in a high-rise, which I was from North Philly, Albany, and there was no way I was prepared for that type of workplace. I had grown up and had worked with my hands and my back up until that point. So they were talking about golf. I didn't understand it. I had no money when I started, so I had basically bought clothes at the Strawbridge Enclosure clearance rack. So mid-90s, so big shoulder pads and gold buttons, and I basically walked in every day looking like either a feminist in a pantsuit or a slutty anchor woman. So I was, the people who'd created this program for us, it was a group of vice presidents, and so the vice presidents were so nice, and they were trying so hard to make me feel comfortable. I showed up, and they would send me to work on different accounts, and when I got there, I would get to like jump in vans and talk to the people in the kitchens, and they would tell me why their job sucked, and so I could go back to corporate and tell them why their job sucked and they could fix it. And I'd show up with all of the taxi receipts because I didn't know how to drive. So then one of the VPs had his assistant teach me how to drive. They were going out of their way. And one of the things they did is they asked me to go to a training where I was going to learn how to be more corporate. And the training ended a little early, and so I decided to go pay my respects to my father, kind of fill him in on how things had been going. And when I went to leave, that's when I realized that they locked the gates at 4. Now, at first you kind of think, okay, well, this must be a mistake. I'm just gonna, in a minute, if I walk along the gate, I'll find some hole in the gate or somebody to open the gate. This will resolve itself. No need to worry about this. About an hour passes, and I realized that I need another plan. So I go to the bell tower, and it had one of those really big ropes where you can kind of dong. And I started doing it long enough to think, well, maybe somebody's heard it, but nobody's coming, so now I've got to get to the point where the neighbors are annoyed. And I did it until my body hurt. And that's when you sit down and realize I have no more tricks, and I'm gonna spend the night in a cemetery, but the gate's closed. I'm safe here. It's just me. I might get cold, but it's just me and the ghosts. And then I realized there was no way they were gonna, when they find me the next morning, I'm just gonna be rocking back and forth and screaming my brains out. So I need a better plan. And so I sit down and I pray to my father and his friends to please give me a way out. And then I open my eyes and I look down and there's a rock. So I pick up the rock and I throw it through a plate glass window, reach in, grab the phone, call 911, and tell them I'm locked in the cemetery. Now, I was supposed to be back at work that night, so I ghosted Carol. And when I showed up the next morning, Ed wanted to know what had happened. And so I told him about the gate, and I told him about the bell, and I told him how the groundskeeper came and told me that he wasn't going to let me out until I signed the form agreeing to pay $600 for the plate glass window. And he let me tell my story, and when I was done, he said, okay, first of all, you're not paying for the window. Give me the name of the cemetery, and that's out of your life. Second of all, don't ever tell stories like this at work. If somebody asks you why you were late, you tell them your car broke down. You just can't talk about being locked in a cemetery. It's just not done. Okay, thanks, Ed. So, few weeks go by. Now, I'd been in this rotational program. It was supposed to last 3 to 5 years. And I'm in my first year when he calls me into the office and he says, listen, we need an HR manager at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and we're sending you down to be the HR manager. And I think, did I mess up? And he goes, nope. You seem to have a knack for working with hourly people, and you can figure things out, and that's what we need at a baseball stadium. And I said, I'm not prepared. What am I supposed to do if I need help? He goes, well, we know that you, of all people, know how to ask for help when you need it. Thank you.